Welcome to this introduction to ePortfolios. In this video, we'll explore the whys and whats of ePortfolios and then dive into Mahara ePortfolio that UniSA provides. So why use an ePortfolio? Over the course of your life as a learner, whether you're learning in a formal environment like a school or an informal environment such as a hobby, you create a body of work to apply the skills and knowledge that you're developing. You might also pick up recognitions and qualifications. Without a way to properly store, curate, and add context to all of the work you've produced, useful examples of your work can end up in a virtual attic, gathering dust. ePortfolios allow users to create online spaces where they can store and curate existing content, plus provides tools to create new content and to contextualize existing content. ePortfolios then allow you to use the same things in multiple ways to serve multiple audiences. For instance, an assessment may call upon you to produce an overview video, a final paper to analyze your research, and various notes and reflections. You can upload notes, create reflections, upload your resources, and access them anywhere you go. Then display the outputs to your tutor for feedback, or in the case of some courses, for your final assessment. During or after university, you can use various artifacts you've created or have obtained to create an online job application. And later on, you may even wish to use the outputs of your work to teach others. You can do it all from the same platform. There are dozens of ePortfolio platforms out there, but they all share the same three key elements: a place to store and curate electronic files or to access your files stored and curated in other locations, tools that allow you to create new content and/or to contextualize your existing content, and a method by which you can display content in different configurations for consumption by different audiences. The University of South Australia makes Mahara ePortfolios available to all of their students. Let's take a look at that now. All students and staff have access to the Mahara ePortfolio. There are a couple of ways to get there. One is you can go to https://ep.unisa.edu.au. The second way is that in most courses on the blocks to the side, either left or right, you'll see a link to ePortfolio. You get in by using your UniSA username and password. So let's log in. This is the dashboard area of the Mahara ePortfolio. We're going to focus on just a few core elements today, just enough to help you get through your assignments. Beyond that, you're welcome to explore. To give you a bit of background, Mahara was originally set up to be a social network of sorts where people could learn together, create, and share things. That's why you'll see information about online users, and there's a section on groups. We're just going to focus in on content and portfolio. So let's start with the content area. And we'll go to profile. Profile is where you write a brief description of yourself, upload a picture, just like Moodle has a profile and most social media sites do. Your educator, the educator in your course may or may not require you to fill in this area. If they do, it's fairly straightforward. It's got a text editor that it should all be familiar to most of you, and you can upload a photo in the other content areas. So let's go to the main content area, which is files. Files is where you upload images, documents, and other artifacts that you want to upload and share in your page. Now, because you only have about a gig's worth of storage, you're going to want to be careful about the content that you upload. Make sure that it's small enough so that you're not taking up a lot of space. So for instance, if you're doing multimedia like video or audio that's going to take up a lot of space, you'll just want to link to it, or Mahara allows you to embed YouTube videos to display, and I'll show you that in a moment. So in this content area, this is where you're going to largely upload images and documents. Now, as you can see here, I've got several folders created. And as a student, you're going to have multiple courses, obviously, so it might be a good idea to create a folder for each course. However, you could also do it topic by topic. So, for instance, I've got a folder here called Online Gaming and another one Teaching with IT. It's really up to you. So the first thing you want to do is create a folder. And to create a folder, you simply go to the square that says Create Folder, and we'll zoom in a bit on that. Type in a name and click Create Folder. And as you can see, that automatically displayed right up here. Now we'll go ahead and click on that folder. And now we can upload content to the folder. You have to agree to, yes, the file I'm uploading is my own, or you have permission, and then you can go ahead and choose a file. I'll go ahead and choose a file. Click Open. And you can see the file automatically uploaded into the folder. When you're getting started with an assessment or an assignment, the first thing you need to do is upload all your content to this folder. So let's choose another type of file, and this time instead of my profile pictures, we'll go somewhere else. Let's go to a paper. And I'll upload that. Now, there's also a maximum upload size of 256 meg. Let's look at the other bits of the content area, and then we'll get into portfolio. A journal is like a blog. And a blog, for those of you who don't know, is a weblog. It's an easy to create website. You may have heard of WordPress or Blogger, those sorts of tools. That's what it is. Now, the journal on Mahara you can use for your own private thoughts and no one else can see them. Or if your teacher asks you to share formal reflections, you can do that here as well. So again, you're probably going to want to create a new journal for each course. And to do that, you just click Create Journal, give it a name. The description's purely for your benefit. And Create Journal. Now you'll notice there's no entries in there, so we click Create New Entry. And I'll just call this Reflection 1. And type. Okay. Now, down here you can choose whether or not to make it public or private and whether or not to allow comments or not. Your instructor should probably have some guidelines for you on this. Now, we'll turn comments off, but this post is just some notes I've taken on my reading. I don't want my instructor to see them, so I'm going to leave draft on and I'm going to click Save Entry. That draft means that no one else can see this until I click Publish. So if I create a new entry, throw some text in there, and I decide I'm very pleased with that, click Save Entry, and that's published. If I wanted to publish something that I originally saved as a draft, I can just click Publish, and it becomes public. If I do that accidentally, I can click Unpublish, and it'll unpublish. Now I can go in and edit things anytime I want. And if, for instance, in this one I want to get a bit fancier, I can expand the toolbar and get a bit fancier, and I can change the font, I can change the size, I can add some bold. I could even add an image if I wanted to, but I can only add an image from either the folder I have or I need to upload a new one. So in this case, I'm just going to go to Images, and I'm going to select this one, and I won't worry about, well, I might reduce the size just a little bit down here, give it a bit of space, click Submit, and now there's an image of my post. Save entry, there we go. So that's the journal area, and that's for reflections. These other areas I'll let you explore on your own. Resume is pretty self-explanatory, and plans is sort of a tick list. And your instructor will let you know whether or not you need to use them. You might find it worthwhile using if you want a place to store to-do lists. And all you do really is give yourself a to-do and a due date, and you add new tasks like this. Now, let's go to Portfolio. Now, Portfolio is involves pages and collections of pages. So we'll start with pages, and a page is the basic element of a portfolio. Just as in, for instance, if you've known anybody who's into scrapbooking, you create a scrapbook page first, and then you can put it into a loose leaf binder, and then create a scrapbook. A portfolio on its own is either one page at a time or a collection of pages. So we're going to go ahead and create a page. And we're going to give the page a title. So if you've got, if the assessment has a particular name, don't worry about naming your page that, because you can name the collection that, unless it's just a one-page assessment, which I doubt you'll have. So I'm going to give it the incredibly original name of AAAA page, whoops, page 1. The page description's purely for me for the XYZ course. And the tags, we won't worry about for today, and display name format I'm not going to worry about, and I'll click Save. Now we want to take a step back from Edit Content and go to Edit Layout. There are multiple different layouts available to you on the ePortfolio, and it's going to depend on the type of content you want. So for instance, you might be asked to describe an image, and if you're asked to describe an image, you might want to select 2 equal columns, so you have your image on one side and your explanation next to it. You may want to just illustrate some text, in which case you could choose no columns. There are lots of different layouts, and I welcome you to explore those. We're going to go ahead and select just a simple 2-column layout, assuming that both the text and the image in my example are going to carry equal weight, and I'm going to click Save. Now, Mac users, you might not see these divisions as clearly, and some PC users, if your monitors or contrast ratios are turned up or down, it's going to vary. But trust that they're there once you've created your layout. And then what you want to do is you want to drag container boxes to fill. So I want my image to be on the left-hand side. So I'm going to drag the image box. And at that point, it's going to ask me to choose an image. So I'm going to go back and look at a folder, and that one doesn't have anything. Wouldn't you know it, of all the folders I choose. So I'll go back up, and I'll go to this folder, and I'll select that. Won't worry about showing the description because I haven't really done a good one. Retractable, we won't worry about that, and we'll click Save. And there's our image up there. Doesn't it look good? Apologies to vegetarians out there. If you want to edit it afterwards, you can configure the block. You could choose another image. You can choose whether or not to show the description again. You could specify width. This time we'll choose retractable, and I'll show you what that means when we get to that. So then the next thing I want to slide over is some text, because I want to describe my image. So I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop the text box over there. and give it a title. And then I'm just going to grab some placeholder text, paste it in there. Hopefully you will have your own writing and it won't be Latin. I'll select yes for retractable so I can show you how it works. Click save. Then we'll go back in and edit so the image actually has a name. Go down to the bottom, click save. So now we have a page. We'll click done. And we'll have a look at it. This is what the page looks like. It's got the basic skin or theme of the Mahara site itself. We've got an image and some text. Now, as we mentioned before, most assessments are going to ask for you to create multiple pages. So you basically just wash, rinse, and repeat. So let's go back to content, or portfolio, sorry, and let's click on pages. And let's create a new page. This time, oops, we're going to choose a slightly different layout. It always defaults to the 3-column, by the way. This time there's going to be some text, and the image is just there to enhance the text. It's not as important. So I'm going to choose just 1 column. So now you can see there's just 1 column here. So I'm going to drag my text box into that 1 column. And again, Mac users, you might not see it as clearly delineated, but once you make your choice, drag your content over. And we'll give the block a name. And again, we'll throw in some placeholder text. But this time, when I go to add an image, I'm going to do it in this text block here because it's just meant to enhance the text rather than be as important. So I'm going to click Insert an Image, and I'll choose another image. And this time I'll choose this one. I'll look at my formatting options and say, oh, I want it to be a bit narrower, and I like space around my text. And I want it to be over near the left, and we'll even give it a little border. I'll click Submit. Won't worry about it being retractable, and I'll click Save. And there we go. We've got a page with a subtitle, we've got image, and we've got some text, and we'll click Done. Alrighty, so now my XYZ course, I've created 2 pages, and that's everything I needed to do for that fictional assessment. But now I have to bind them together in order for my instructor to be able to flip through them. So then I'm going to go up and I'm going to create a collection. So a collection, as we mentioned before, are pages that are grouped together. So we're going to create a new collection. And this time I'm going to call it by the assessment name. So XYZ course assessment 1, or obviously fill yours in there. I want a page navigation bar, yep. And then I'm going to edit the collection pages. What it does is brings me to another drag and drop screen. I can either click and click add pages, or I could drag them over. I'm just going to click and add pages. And if I add them in the wrong order, I can flip the order around, but I'm happy with the order I've got, and I'm going to click Done. Now we'll go take a look at our collection. As you can see, it's built a sort of mini website. So there's the first page, and there's the second page. Now we just looked at basics of image and text. But you can also display documents on an ePortfolio page. So I've gone ahead and created a page 3 for our ePortfolio. And if we look at the other types of content we can add, you'll see under media, we can add a PDF, or we could add a folder or files to download. So let's say we want to display a document that we've created on a page. In that case, we'd drag over the PDF block. Then we would go into our folder where we uploaded the PDF. We would select that and click Save. Now I happen to choose an exceedingly large document. 789 pages is probably not what you want to be uploading and displaying on a site, but this gives you a sense of what it looks like. People can go through the pages one at a time if they want to. You can enable the hand tool so people can sort of drag things around, or they can just use the up and down arrows here. So that's what a PDF looks like embedded. Now, if you just want the files to be available for download, let's go ahead and drag that into the column over here. Then you can go ahead and select some files. And let's see if I've got any other files that might be a bit small over there. Well, there's just our hamburger image. Let's just select that and click Save. And instead of displaying the image, it'll just display the image title and the file size and when it was uploaded. So that's the difference between making files available to download and displaying files on your page. Now, if we decided we wanted a third column, instead of going back to layout, we can just click Add a column. We could add our journal entries to our page if we wanted to. So we could click here. All right, I'll just click from this one. Scroll on down. Just click. And there we go. There's a journal entry there. Other types of content you can add. Have a play with, really. There's your profile information, the profile that you would have created earlier. If you've got external content, you can do external feed or external media. So let's pop that into a column. And as you can see, you can embed media from a number of different websites, including YouTube. All you need to do is grab your embed code. So if we go to YouTube and we choose a video and we click share, and embed, we can copy that embed code, paste the embed code in, and click save. And there's our content. And if we decide we need more space, then we can do something about the number of columns on the page or go back to page layout and make adjustments as we need. Click done when you're finished, and then you can view your page. Now, if you're looking at your finished collection with all three of your pages, you might be thinking, this looks a little bit dull, I want to spice this up a bit, how can I make it more of my own? Well, if you click Edit, on your individual pages, you can go further along the Edit menu and choose Skin. A skin is like a theme. It says what font colors are, what certain styles look like, background images. You can create your own. You can choose from one of hundreds that are available on the site, and you can save them as your faves. I'm going to go ahead and click on one that I created myself, and we're not going to go into how to do that here. There are full tutorials on that, but I just wanted to show you that you can change the look of your ePortfolio. So that's the first page, but the second and third also need to be edited, and I want them to look the same because I don't believe in jarring people by making pages look different page to page. So I'll just select that skin again and click Save. And then I'll do that again for the last page. Again, this is not something you have to do. You can submit an ePortfolio without your own personal skin on it or a skin from the site, and that's all right. I just wanted to show this to people who wanted to give that little bit extra. Look, I hope this video has been helpful for you. As always, if you have any questions about how to use the ePortfolio, if you click on the little question mark at the top of any page, you will be taken to a help just for you that will have information on the different tools and technologies you're asked to use.